Bow, the Planet Hank live show, Thursday night, 8 p.m. We all know what time it is. It's time for us all to meet up, discuss the very best news in the finest podcast, the very greatest entertainment on the interweb. We all know what time that occurs, 8 p.m. every Thursday night. I love doing this podcast with y'all. We've had a hell of a week. We've had all kinds of very serious news stories breaking out across the country. And I'm going to throw this up right now. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated yesterday by a radical leftist at his event in Utah. And the video footage was very graphic. And I'm pretty pissed off about it. I'm going to be talking about it quite a bit. And I'm going to give everybody a chance to get in here before I do too much about our introduction today. Let me go ahead and do the most important part, which is sharing up the live story. Michelle Morin says, very sad week. It was very sad. It was an awful week so far. There's a lot of tragedy in our news. Our country's getting out of control. And it's time that we do something about it collectively and make sure that we get ourselves on the right track, which is all very possible. I'm optimistic that we'll be able to do the right thing, that we'll be able to get ourselves on the right track and change some of these very sad stories that keep happening throughout our states, through our country. So I'm going to do the very most important part, and I'm going to share this up not only into just my story, but I'm going to share it into some groups. I'm going to write hashtag the Brattleboro News recap show, and I'm going to share it into some groups. Southern Vermont Speaks, Proctor Republicans Unite, Putney, Vermont News and Info, President Trump, the Planet Hank Locker Room, which is the very best group on the internet, Scanner Gossip, Mature Members 2.0, Keen Connections, MAGA Vermont, 802 VT Alliance, Donald Trump MAGA Group. And that's probably enough for groups. I'll be reading comments if anybody who wants to put it goes. The video on X was absolutely horrific. It was absolutely disgusting. Heather Chase says, such a sad day. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. We will continue to spread the truth. And that's a very important point that I'm going to get to when I do a huge segment on Charlie Kirk. But let's not forget, it's 9/11, and that is a date that will live on in infamy in this country, and it affected my life personally, and I have some stories about that I will share with you that I'm not sure everybody knows about me, but I will share them with you. On that note, let me go ahead and show you what today's show is going to bring. We're going to cover the subway attacker and everything that happened with that. We're going to cover Charlie Kirk's assassination in Utah, the attack on freedom of speech. We're going to go over the 9/11 terrorist attack and some work that's going on currently now, 25 years later. We're going to go with the Jamestown Canyon disease outbreak here in Vermont. The Swedish health director passes out. Not so healthy. And leftist violence in America and all over the world. We're gonna discuss it and go over some of the attacks. We're gonna do a historical segment about the Weather Underground, something that the younger generations might not know, but the older generations are probably familiar with. The Planet Hank live show, the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting, Now, this show might be scary for some people who hate the truth, which we've seen come up very recently. And I want to be clear about that. This podcast will definitely give you what you need if you want to be triggered and mad and hate the truth and want to be a radical. Then watch. There you have it. So I'm going to get right into it. What I'm going to do on this show is much like I do every week on the Brattleboro News Recap Show, is that I'm going to show you a very important, one of our very best in-house videos from the town of Brattleboro. This video I created here for all of you. And I think it's very important. Just a second here. I'm pulling it up. So what I'm going to do is I play the video in its entirety and I allow people to ask me questions. And I'll tell you some of the stuff that may come up that is not featured in the video and allow everybody to get a basic sneak peek at what's going on. Here we go. Share the screen. And I will let you enjoy it now. Boom,
boom. Breaking news.
I'm Hank with Brattleboro News and PlanetHank.com, bringing you the latest from our community. Folks, we've got a real serious issue tearing through Vermont, and it's hitting Brattleboro hard. Governor Phil Scott just released new data on the overdose crisis, and it's a wake-up call. In 2024, 183 Vermonters died from overdoses, a drop from the 2022 peak, but still way too many lives lost. The governor's clear. We're battling fentanyl flooding our streets, straining our first responders, and testing our communities like never before. Right here in Brattleboro, we're seeing the fallout. Just days ago, footage captured 2 people overdosing on the steps of Scissor Masters right in the heart of town. This isn't a one-off incident. Multiple serious overdoses have rocked our streets lately, turning public spaces into scenes of chaos. These incidents hit hard. First responders are burning through thousands in taxpayer dollars for Narcan, ambulances, and follow-up care. And the trauma, it's real. Families, kids, and passerbys are all left rattled witnessing this heartbreak unfold. In the Scissor Masters incident, one of the victims had an active warrant and the other got cited for disorderly conduct. Both refused medical help even after Narcan brought one of them back. But it shows how deep this addiction cycle runs, and it's got folks asking, are our policies helping or hurting? Scissor Masters has made the decision to close its doors, according to owner Lisa Shippey, who says, the drug problem is the main reason I'm closing. She also mentioned parking issues, panhandling, and Gallery Walk shutting down Elliott Street as reasons contributing to her decision. But these dramatic drug events are definitely negative for business in Brattleboro. Take Senator Wendy Harrison, representing Windham County. Her voting record's raising eyebrows. She's pushed to decriminalize small amounts of drugs, saying it reduces stigma. But critics argue it's a green light for more use and dealing right here in our neighborhoods. Harrison's also backed expanding hotel voucher programs, offering temporary housing without strict residency rules. Sounds compassionate, right? But it's drawing out-of-staters to Vermont, turning our state into a magnet for addiction struggles. The result? More overdoses, more strain on our resources, and more public safety risk. Governor Scott's fighting back, vetoing bills like the Overdose Prevention Center that Harrison and others overrode. Are these policies keeping Brattleboro safe or inviting more trouble? I'll keep you updated as this story develops. For the latest, follow me on social media and visit my website. I'm Hank with Brattleboro News and PlanetHank.com.
So, obviously, we've got a lot to unpack with this one. We all from Brattleboro are dealing with this opioid crisis. It's nothing new to any of us. We all know that it's happening. It's terrible. And it pisses me off. Two of these people obviously took a bunch of drugs, went out, and completely passed out on the steps of Scissor Master. Okay, and Lisa Shippey is pissed, completely pissed. She says, Planet Hank, I got it. It's just my bad Wi-Fi. Yeah, sometimes everybody's on the internet. After an event like the Charlie Kirk event, everybody's on the internet. And here he is. I'm throwing him up on the screen as a remembrance to everybody that free speech will not be stopped. Okay, and you just made 10 million new Charlie Kirks by assassinating this man who stood for all of our free speech, and all he tried to do was voice his opinion and bring some life back into Christianity. With that being said, I've got my event here, Constitution Day, 1787, September 17th from 6 to 9 at Bar 580. Okay, we're going to have the band Intercept, who absolutely rock out. Okay, I will be hosting and speaking, and I will be featuring several of our representatives from the state of Vermont and other people who I'm going to be highlighting, and you're going to get to hear from them. It's a brief speaking event and more of a concert and mixer for people to get involved, for people to get used to the idea that here we are. We're going to do our thing here in the state of Vermont, and we're not going to let the radical left, who is assassinating people and trying to intimidate us, to take our voices away, take our fun away, and take our freedom of speech away. That's not going to happen. So jump in with us this Wednesday and meet us there to rock out. Now, there's a link attached to the event on my page and everywhere that you will see this poster posted. The American for Prosperity website, the Americans for Prosperity social media sites, and Planet Hank, I've posted this event. Now, you can click on the link and you need to pre-register. And what happens when you pre-register is not only does it give us the data that we're looking for in order to get some work done, what it does is allows you to get free food and get a free drink voucher. Okay, so they're going to have like a bunch of wings and appetizers and everything for everybody who pre-registers, and you get a free drink voucher, which is a great deal. Free food, free music. You get to hear me run my mouth and crack some jokes. And, everybody already knows my events are awesome, and I can't wait to see you guys there. Okay, and now here's the thing. She goes, it's scary to be in fear to have freedom of speech after this week. And I'll tell you like this. I have my local security guards at this event. Okay, 580 Bar has their bouncers and security guards at this event. American for Prosperity have flown in a private security company that is on point and very professional, that will have several professional private security officers on site. Okay? This is a safe event. You are safe to go there, and we are not tolerant at all of anybody trying to show up and intimidate me or my guests in any way. We have not received any hate like that. And so far, everything's been very classy, and we're looking forward to a really good time, okay? So I'm inviting everybody to come and talk, and everybody to come and see me and take pictures. I'll be suited and booted. All of my associates and my large network of political people and friends and colleagues will all be in attendance. And this is your chance to really get out there and do something with all of us. I want everybody to go. I'm asking as a favor. Please show up and have a nice night with me. This has cost us a lot of money. We're going to make sure that everybody gets what they need, that you have a fun time, and I really want to see you guys there. She goes, you want me to come and talk to people at your gig? Are you sure? Laughing. Yeah, I know. You might scare some people off. She goes, dude, I was first. Swear to God. Waited for you to start. Then I got distracted. Okay, but see, that's the part. Then you got distracted, but I still consider myself first. So first. No, that's not how it works. In order to be considered and get credit for first, as we climb past 175 people watching live, okay, you need to understand that now it's 185. And you are getting lost in the mixture of people filing in to watch the Planet Hank live show. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. He says, see you there Wednesday, buddy. Gary Gagney, Butch. That's Butch. He goes, I'll be there. Well, you're one of the security guys, so you better be there, okay? As we're exploding over 200 live viewers, and I know everybody here is all shook up. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. And with that, we're going to get into a couple of the little things that we have to do, which is remind everybody how wonderful this podcast is, and this country and our patriotism will never die down.
Planet Hank Live, the absolute finest entertainment on the internet. Join us in fighting back against evil.
It's hotter than a blacktop in July, sweating like a sinner in a church, and I just wanna get out with my crew tonight and shoot at the lights. Got a couple 40s full of cops and fun, looking for a good time, gotta live it up. Leave behind the city, hop inside my truck. No, we don't give up. We're gonna paint the night red. Who can holler till we're dead? We're down to turn up. We're up to get down. Saying, hey, y'all.
The Planet Hank Live show is funded by a network of wonderful, patriotic supporters. If you've got a business, if you've got an organization, or you've got an event, and you would like me to highlight your work and to get you some eyeballs looking at your message, please hit me up. We're always looking for new sponsors. We're looking for supporters. But sponsors is what helps us grow. Without sponsors, without these patriots, I wouldn't be able to do the Brattleboro News Recap Show, run the Brattleboro News, or do any of the work that I'm doing around the state. Kings Electric has been a huge help to me. They absolutely support everything I do. I love these guys. They are the best electrical contractors in the area. It's not even close at this point. If you want your electrical work done correctly, with no callbacks, with no danger, you gotta call Kings Electric. They're very busy. Get for a reason. So get on. There we go. Kresge's Alignment Auto Repair. They're up on Mike Borio is amazing. He is a patriot of Brattleboro, Vermont. A couple of people were calling him up and complaining about your boy Planet Hank, and he told them, you know what? Back off. You're not going to tell me what I'm going to do with my sponsor, with my advertising dollars. Hank is the man. He's doing the right thing for Brattleboro, and so I'm going to do the right thing for Hank, and I love him for it, and I recommend him to everybody, and I absolutely love having this man's logo on my media because that is real. That is the truth, and that's what we stand for here, is the truth. And we got Rod's Towing and Repair. These guys fight for me all the time. People call them up constantly, trashing me out, trying to cancel your boy Hank. It just happened this week. They called him up saying a bunch of super disgusting stuff about me, and they told him, hey, look, back off. Hank is one of our family friends. We are not having it. Don't come in here trashing Hank out thinking that you're going to get anywhere with us. Absolutely not. We are going to do the right thing for Vermont, for Brattleboro, for addiction, and we're going to say the truth no matter whose feelings it hurts. And the truth is that we need to fight back. We need to fight hard in this state because they are trying us. Rod's Towing and Repair, God-fearing, family-run business, been there forever. And everybody go up there, fill your car up with gas. My man Mike O'Brien. And I'll tell you this man sent me extra money this week and said, listen, I know you need to get some new equipment, and I know you've been trying to build a few projects up. Let me help you out with that. That is a rare quality these days. Somebody that doesn't just put their name on it, doesn't just sponsor it, and have their own MOB Pilot Car LLC put on the news for advertising. He just goes ahead and says, hey, look, let me send you a few bucks because I know you're working hard, and I know you got a lot of stuff in the works, and you're going to need some help. A huge shout out to you, Mr. O'Brien. So anybody else want to get involved, let me know. Huge shout out to all my supporters, and I know I'm going to see tons of you at the AFP Vermont Constitution Day event. We are going to have so much fun at this one. I'm going to be cracking jokes. We're going to be going in September 17th from 6 to 9. So show up. You pre-register. You can register at the door. So if you need to register at the door, go ahead. But we want you to pre-register so we know who's showing up. That's one of the ways we're trying to keep you safe. The more you register, whatever, you get free food, you get a free drink. And it helps us, collect some data on who's there so how we can, get the best usage out of putting these events on. But it also, if we all pre-register, then we can figure out the crazy lefty in the group who we think is a problem and make sure that they are not going to get access to our event. So this week has brought us a lot of grief. Everybody's been talking about all these negative situations. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. But this next story, I want to make sure does not get lost in the hype, okay? So I'm going to play a little video here, and this may be disturbing, but I cut out a certain part, so... So obviously we've probably all heard about this from, all of the media coverage and just, and I'll tell you, it took a week. It took more than a week for it to hit most of the mainstream medias, and I'll let you guys speculate as to why that is, honestly. So the tragic killing of Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail. August 22nd, 2025, 23-year-old Irina Zarutska, a Ukrainian refugee who fled the war in her home country seeking safety in the U.S., was fatally stabbed in an unprovoked attack. She just got on the subway and sat down. She's looking at her phone. And the guy behind her, you see him flip open his knife and stab her several times in the neck. It was crazy because the other people on the subway, they just did nothing. They literally did nothing. The woman next to her didn't even look her way. She was just over like this. She didn't even look her way. Irina is an inspiring artist who succumbed to her injuries. She succumbed to her injuries shortly after, marking a devastating end to her search for a peaceful life. The suspect, 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr., a homeless man with a diagnosed history of schizophrenia, was arrested shortly after the attack following a brief altercation with another individual on the train. This guy had an extensive criminal history, including multiple arrests for assault, robbery, and weapon charges over the past decade. Court records show that he was released from jail just weeks before the attack, raising questions about the mental health. He had 14 different felonies. Mainstream media outlets provided minimal coverage of the incident, with most reports focusing on the basic fact that the attack without delving into the broader implications. Local outlets like WBTV and the Charlotte Observer published brief articles, while national media largely ignored the story. Why do you think that is? Possibly due to sensitive and immigration dynamics. We all know what it was. It fit the mainstream leftist media. It does not fit what they want to have happen. If the roles were reversed, this would be insane, okay? This would be insane. This would be riots. This would be chaos in the streets. Rachel Morris says 189 on X. He goes, Rip Charlie and Irina both murdered. She said no one should be persecuted for their political beliefs. He goes, we need more Daniel Pennies on the subways. And that highlights exactly what we're dealing with. Daniel Penny stuck up for other people on the subway, and the left went after him and tried to put him in prison for the rest of his life. It was disgusting. The attacker, a black man, and the victim, a white Ukrainian refugee, created a narrative that some commentators on X argued was deliberately downplayed by legacy media to avoid inflaming racial tensions. Posts on X highlighted frustration that the story didn't gain traction compared to other high-profile crimes, with some users claiming that it was buried due to the racial identities involved. If the roles were reversed, okay, we all know what would have happened. If the attacker were white and the victim was black, it's likely the media's response would have been much more intense, with national outlets potentially framing the incident as a hate crime or racially motivated. And I don't understand how it's not being labeled as a hate crime. He literally walked away going, oh, I got that white woman. Oh, I got that white woman. Said, God bless her soul. Yeah, 100%. Historical examples like Trayvon Martin suggest that such a reversal would prompt a widespread protest and op-eds dissecting systemic racism. The current case's relevant silence points to a perceived double standard and how media prioritizes stories based on racial and political optics. The disparity in coverage reflects a broader trend where crimes involving certain demographics are amplified or suppressed based on prevailing narratives. Critics on X argue that the media outlets avoid stories that don't fit neatly into social justice frameworks. And that's really just it. That's why this is so crazy, okay? And this should never be happening, okay? She was just sitting there. Nobody helped her. Nobody did anything. They stabbed her in the neck and she bled out and nobody helped her. As the video continued, one guy gets up and chases after the guy a little bit. One black guy got up and chased after the attacker, you know, and the video doesn't show what happened or if there was an altercation or confrontation or whatever happened. I've seen other videos where it shows him dripping blood all over the place from the knife, all over the floor, and everybody's just looking at him. People got to start doing stuff about this. A woman gets stabbed in the neck, you got to get up and do something. We have that saying, if you see something, say something. They should change that. If you see something, do something. Something needs to be done when a 14 times felon is stabbing people in the neck on the subway for doing nothing. She didn't do anything. She didn't even make eye contact with him. She did nothing but sit there on her phone and died because of how fucked up our country is getting. Because they need to be accountable to some degree. 100%. And the system, like what justice system is putting people like that back out on the street? He should be locked up. This is the harm reduction narrative that our leaders across the country are trying to implement. Catch and release, harm reduction, non-carceral approaches, and they try to label all these people who do stuff like this as having mental health crisis and that they need to be treated in some other way other than locked away underneath the prison or given the death sentence, okay? Given the death penalty. Says on her way home from work. Says, I love you, Hank. You are such a good man. 100%. She goes, greetings from Jericho. Hotep Hervin. All the way over on X. We're blowing up tonight. We got lots of viewers and we got lots of stories. I love doing this show. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in to our next story. Which is basically the story of the hour. And I'm going to show some footage. Now, this is a little graphic. It might get some of you guys upset, but here it is.
You guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe. Okay, be safe. Bye. Apparently there's been a shooting. I don't know who's been shot. We are here live at Utah Valley State University. I don't know if that was shots or if that was... Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot.
So, we're looking at Charlie Kirk was shot and killed in Utah. We've all seen the headlines. It was horrific. They're looking for the shooter. Now they've got a picture of the guy. Now, I'm pissed about it. I'm absolutely pissed about this. I have been attacked several times myself for saying the things using my freedom of speech. The left is getting crazier and crazier, and they've figured out a way to have their rhetoric basically tell them and the people into their groups that somehow they're justified, that they've categorized every single thing that opposes what they are saying or believe in as hate speech or hateful or violence, and that when they are doing violence against somebody, that somehow it's different and they are justified in doing murder and doing attacks and destroying businesses and destroying property. It needs to stop. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it's gotten way out of control. We've gotten way out of control with this lately. I've got a video here of the President Donald Trump reacting to Charlie Kirk, and he says some stuff, and I'm going to go over this right after. So here we go. Let's listen.
Those
to what
on
Trump
the
said.
radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
So, President Trump doesn't mince his words at all. He blames the attacks on the radical left and the messaging that leaders and media outlets have been given. That somehow being a conservative means that you are a Nazi, that you are the same as some of the most murderous groups and people and the outright worst people in the world. And it's not true, and it needs to stop. They always find a way to categorize anybody who disagrees with them, and they come up with ways to make them deplorable or irredeemable or evil or Nazis and racist and misogynist and anti-LGBT and whatever that they can come up with. It's always a way to make their target, the people that they actually hate, justify their hatred towards them. It's getting ridiculous, and we will not tolerate it anymore. I am done with it. Their mental illness, okay, is boiling over, and it is their manifesto. Their political ideologies is their manifesto. They have turned being a leftist into they must attack anyone who doesn't agree. This has been happening for a very long time, and it has escalated into untenable levels at this point. This is disgusting. Charlie Kirk's wife and children were in attendance at the event. I don't care what anybody said. Thinking about the fact that you think that it was the correct thing to do because you're trans or you're upset or you're mad about something he said or you say he's racist, that you think that you are going to give his children and wife horrific memories for the rest of their lives of Charlie being shot and killed in the neck in front of everybody, thousands of people. Charlie highlighted beautifully the fact that thousands and thousands of people, millions across the country, support conservative ideals, that they agreed with his messaging, that they wanted to go to church, that they believe in Jesus Christ, and they believe in doing the right thing. He highlighted and showed this country that beautifully every day. He gave people respect. He talked to them eloquently. And we are not ever going to forget what was done at the hands of silencing people who don't agree with your messaging. Wono writes, if a bystander had stood up and intervened on that train in Charlotte, Irina would still be alive, 100%. People are not human. They object to these people. Hank, big shout out. Said, well said. Says, what bothers me is people saying that it has become a professional hit because the precision shot, a 30-06, can be shot by anyone with minimal training with a gun equipped with a good scope. 200 yards is nothing. Exactly. I mean, U.S. Marine, expert marksman. I'm telling you right now, 200 yards is nothing, especially with a scope mounted on it and zeroed in. All you got to do is hold that thing steady and put the crosshairs center mass, and you're going to hit your target. And when you're thinking about a shot, the neck is a miss on a dog target. You're not targeting someone's neck, okay? That happened to be a highly deadly place that the bullet struck. Now, there's been other people out there saying, well, the shot hit a bulletproof vest and went up. And I think that's because what I saw was that there was a microphone wired into his shirt. So they're saying that that was where it went. I don't know if I believe that. I believe from what I watch on the videos that the bullet struck him in the neck. And if that's the case, if they were targeting the center of his head between the eyes or center mass, right in the center of your chest, hitting here means you missed. Your shot was off target. That is not a professional sniper. A professional sniper would have hit him right here or hit him right here. 200 yards is not impossible, and that you needed to be some elite SWAT, SEAL, military trained agent, secret agent, sniper, professional hit. No, anybody could have made that shot. Liberty ICT, my boy, all the way in Kansas, giving us those libertarian values. And I love to bust his balls because his page is lit. Everybody needs to follow this guy because they got battles over there on his social media. But he writes, the left likes to call me a racist Nazi on the daily, and the right calls me a liberal. I take being called a liberal more offensive. I'm going to keep that in mind. You're telling me your secrets. I'm going to make sure I call you a liberal more. So one of the things that I like to say now is that leftism is a mental disorder, and their ideology is their manifesto. They want to go out and say, we're going to fight back. We're anti-fascist. We're going to do something. We're going to protest. We're calling businesses and cancel culture, and they're all trying to do something. Anytime you disagree with them, you're racist. We're going to get you. You're misogynist. We're going to get you. Oh, you said this. We don't approve. We're going to get you. And so they got Charlie Kirk, and we're not having it anymore with the rest of your shit. It's disgusting, and it needs to stop. Michael Bryan says, ha, nice. As we fly, over 315 live viewers. X is on fire tonight. Make sure you guys follow me on all social media platforms. We're streaming on 2 YouTubes. We're on Twitch. We're on Facebook. We're on X. Kirsten Jackman writes, I feel like the left is trying to start a war to then blame it on Trump. And that's the craziest part about all of this. As soon as Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the left came out. We had some very trashy people on the post that I made on Facebook. Somebody here in town who is a complete scumbag and went on there and started saying nasty stuff, said yippee, and then started saying trashy, hateful leftist comments all over social media. He was on my post about 69 Alpha being a trash, dirty injection site and was advocating for people being able to do drugs and all this hippie, homeless, progressive crap that has failed and they can't accept it. And then he's on there exposing, gnashing, and showing his fangs of what kind of nasty person and hateful motherfucker that he really is. There's several. They're all over the internet. They're showing you the hate that they have when they cheer for Donald Trump getting shot, for Charlie Kirk getting shot and killed, for attack after attack after attack. More to come on that. Let's move on. Let's talk about the biggest story in the last 3 decades, okay, because it's been a long time, and discuss what's going on. It's obviously 9/11, which was a horrific terrorist attack on our nation where planes hit the Twin Towers and, 2,000, almost 3,000 people died. I got a little video here to remember it by. There's a plane coming in. Ongoing tragedy of 9/11. But there's some more stuff to talk about. Over 1,000 families still await closure 24 years after the horrific September 11th, 2001 attacks. New York City office and chief medical examiner continues its relentless mission to identify remains, honoring the 2,753 lives lost in the World Trade Center attack. A sobering reminder of that day's evil. Dr. Jennifer O. Deanne, dedication, forensic expert Jennifer O. Deanne, and her team at the OCME are using cutting-edge DNA technology to identify remains for the first time. Their work reflects a deep commitment to bringing peace to grieving families despite the challenges of degraded evidence from fire, water, and time. Recent breakthroughs, August 2025, 3 victims, Ryan Fitzgerald, Barbara Keating, and an unnamed woman, were identified through an advanced DNA testing of remains discovered in 2001 and 2002. So they have continued their work. This brings the total identified to 1,653, yet 40% of the victims remain unidentified, underscoring the scale of this tragedy. Personal notification process. When a victim is identified, the OCME staff deliver the news in person, showing profound respect for families. This solemn duty ensures dignities for those still haunted by loss. Honoring the loss, the tireless effort of Dr. Odian's team is praised by families like Paul Keating's, reflect a sacred promise to never forget as we honor the fallen. We salute the OCME's unwavering resolve to provide closure, ensuring the memory of 9/11's victims endures. Rest in peace. They are still working 24 plus years later to identify bodies of people through science, through work, to figure out who they are so that we can put closure to these families. 9/11 is something that I will never forget. It changed my life. I was in boot camp on Parris Island in the United States Marine Corps during 9/11. While I was in boot camp, they called us out into what we call the pit, which is a sandbox, basically, with sand in it, where they usually bring us when they want to smoke us and make us do push-ups and throw sand on us, sand in our eyes, and we have to roll around and then throw sand all over ourselves, and it's hell. It's the worst thing ever. But on this day, September 11th, 2001, things were different. When we got to the pit, the other platoons came to the pit as well. and we didn't know what was going on until we saw a one-star brigadier general walk out, and we realized something was going on. And he was the one who told us that our country had been attacked by terrorists, that they had struck the Twin Towers in New York City and several other locations, and they asked for any of the recruits that were from New York City if they would, stand up and identify themselves, and they immediately whisked them away so that they could go and contact their families and check to see if their families were okay. They warned us that a terrorist attack and the president had spoken, and that we were now on high alert, and that we were actually going to be honored because we were going to have firsthand. The general told us, specifically us recruits, and said, I envy you because in your position, you are going to have the responsibility to strike back at these terrorists in real time. You are going to be the first Marines to come out of training and deploy directly into these combat zones to have retribution against the terrorists who have attacked us. And it was very true. After I graduated from boot camp, I went to the fleet. I went to SOI and did my training, and then went to the fleet, and immediately we deployed to Iraq. There was already Marines and soldiers deployed to, Afghanistan, and but the reality is that there was tons and tons of terrorist organizations and Al-Qaeda fighters and funding and money and weapon cache and strength in Iraq directly related to this attack. Let me read some comments. He goes, it's tragic that people aren't allowed to have different opinions these days. Ridiculous radicals out there. Let's see what's happening. People are not human. People, the left, 100%. I feel like the left is trying to start a war. He goes, yep. He replied to my comment, made me sick. I hope he is canceled by 69 Alpha. Yes, 100%. I know who you're talking about. Hypocrites. He goes, is it the fool that works at Wally Worlds? No. You mean Kyle from the Shire? No, when I went into Walmart and saw Kyle from the Shire in person, and I told him, I said, oh, look, it's Kyle. It's Kyle from the Shire. I said, come on, man. You sure you want to talk like that with me, buddy? And he didn't have anything else to say ever. The boy almost deleted his entire social media. Never heard another peep from him. Said Building 7, yes, and the Pentagon. He goes, they have no ability to have a discussion with anybody with a separate opinion and view without throwing a tantrum. Said, Susan Hubble, don't tell me where he works, or him and I will have a little talk. Go get him. He works at Wally World. He goes, oh, raw. I said, I was in my mom's womb when it happened. My dad was working in the subway and heard it, and I didn't know what was going on. He said, oh, so the lie show was not a typo. Oh, here we go. We got ourselves a live one. He goes, Saudi Arabia. He goes, Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., calls that out before it happens. He goes, I just lost a friendship of 30 years over it. She's defending the Charlie Kirk assassination is justified. It's terrible. And I suggest getting anybody who wants to take that stance or wants to start the whataboutism. Oh, well, Charlie was assassinated in front of his wife and kids, but what about the guys, the Minnesota shooters who killed that? Oh, you mean the Papa John's pizza guy who said, oh, I think he's a Trump supporter because CNN and MSNBC were like feeding this guy? Are you kidding me? The guy with the Papa John's shirt on, he didn't know what the hell he's talking about. The shooter worked for the Tim Walz freaking campaign and was a total leftist his whole life. It's bullshit. It was a leftist shooter, and we're going to be going over that in a second. He goes, Kyle, low T. So always grateful for your service. He goes, Kyle from the Shire has a wife? I did not have that on my bingo card. I don't know if you could call her that. So big shout out to the group that's doing forensic sciences still at the 9/11 memorial site, and with the remains of people to make sure the identities of the deceased are treated with dignity and the families will get some closure. 9/11 still a tragedy that affects so many people, especially New Yorkers. They have a huge memorial there. If you haven't gone there, you need to go there and check it out. He goes, you do realize that you titled this video The Planet Hank Lie Show. Oh yeah, I do see it. Let's see it. That's pretty funny, actually. Let's see if I can change it. Watch, I'll change it. Hank Live Show. The Planet Hank Lie Show. Boom. Boom. Should change that. I'm going to change it. Watch, I bet you I can change it. I'm doing it right now. That's pretty good, though. The Planet Hank Lie Show, where we're lying about liberals. I'm sure that somebody's going to... There we go. We'll save the changes. Boom. There it is. The Planet Hank Live Show. Live up on Facebook. He goes, we scrambled from Langley and Otis, but they were given the wrong directions and still made it above the skies of New York in under 9 minutes. He goes, oh, God, good catch. He goes, your typo will be their new conspiracy theory. Bring it. Dude, I love it. I love the conspiracy theories. I love when they attack me and come up with the worst things that I've done. Oh, did you know Hank is this and Hank is that? All it is more political BS because they have TDS and they know they're wrong about everything and they're mad, mad, mad. And we're going to talk about that again, but I've got kind of more of a lighthearted story to just kind of break up some of this anger. If you haven't noticed, I'm getting all fired up over here. Story, let's talk about this one here. Okay, this is gross. Okay, so we're dealing with the conspiracy about the Jamestown Canyon virus in Vermont. So Vermont has confirmed its first human case of Jamestown Canyon virus on September 8th, just a couple days ago in Windsor County. Ew! This mosquito-borne virus causes fever, headaches, fatigue, and sometimes muscle aches. About half of symptomatic cases require hospitalization. Most recover fully, but rare cases can lead to severe neurological issues like meningitis or encephalitis. No vaccine or specific treatment exists. Mosquitoes in Marshfield, Rutland, Whittingham tested positive for the virus in July 2025 alongside with West Nile virus. The 3-month delay in reporting a human case raises red flags about the timing of the announcement. With 2025's economy tanking and border issues escalating, a health scare like this smells like a distraction. Big Pharma's likely gearing up for a payday. Let's watch that again. Oh my God. They'll probably give us a vaccine or do some COVID cash grab bullshit. Hospitalization, stoke fear. Is the virus natural? Could it be linked to lab-altered mosquitoes? Vermonters use natural repellent and wear long sleeves. Reject any mandates or lockdowns or BS the left comes up with. History proves it's about control, not health. So they're saying make sure that you wear the proper clothes. Don't let any mosquitoes bite you. That's disgusting. And I'm obviously not the CDC, so don't go out here doing what I say. I have no idea how the hell to get that shit. But it was when I saw the story, I was like, that's disgusting. And of course, it's Vermont that's got some disgusting mosquitoes out here biting people and getting everybody sick. Just imagine a mosquito flying down into the pit, grabbing some blood off of a freaking heroin addict, and then coming and stinging you with it. Can you get AIDS? Can you get the freaking Jamestown Canyon disease? He says that I missed the Charlie stuff. We're about to get into a lot more of Charlie Kirk discussion. And I was just doing some quick other stories here. This next story is freaking hilarious. $350 people on all of our platforms streaming in. And this story here is kind of funny. Okay, this is actually very sad that this had to happen to somebody. Let's see where the clip's at. Boom, boom, boom. Where's she at? Where's she at? Is it this one? No, that's not it. Let me add the video clip in. So, Sweden's new health minister. Okay, we're talking about Sweden's new health minister took a dive. She literally fell on her face. Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to grab the video. You guys about my wonderful event, Constitution Day 1787. It's happening September 17th. That's this coming Wednesday from 6 to 9 p.m. at Bar 580 in Brattleboro, Vermont. Excuse me. We're going to have the band Intercept. We're going to have me hosting. I'll be presenting several other people. And we will be discussing some politics for Vermont. Some stuff about the cost of living. If you register, you pre-register on the site, you will receive free food and a free drink voucher. The band Intercept is awesome, and Floyd is so excited for this event. He's been posting about it himself. I want everybody in Vermont to come. We have security out the wazoo. We have private security that we hired. We have bar staff security, and I have my own personal security, which always shows up to my events because they believe in what I do, just like all of you believe in me. And I can't wait to see you guys at this event. So I better see a lot of you Wednesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. I don't care how far you are. This is the event to drive to. Intercept rocks out. It's the time. You want to get pictures with me for your social media. You want to hear me talk. You want to meet me in person for the first time. This is my biggest event yet. And Intercept is going to make it memorable. These guys rock, okay? They shred. Here's the bar. I'll put up a picture. The bar is super nice. And they've got a restaurant right there. And if it's super nice out, but I don't think that we're going to do it out here, but they have a patio with a fire pit and chairs, and everybody can go out there and talk. and hang out there. It's going to be awesome. So again, this coming Wednesday, September 17th, 6 to 9, Constitution Day with Americans for Prosperity, hosted by Planet Hank, live music by Intercept. Pre-register and get yourself free food and a free drink voucher. And now I have this video. Moving on, let's throw up the video, which I was talking about with the health minister, Elizabeth Lahn, Sweden's new health minister. Absolutely wild video. I got to take one out. Let me take this one out. Remove from studio. Let me throw this up. You guys are going to enjoy this one. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet or haven't seen it, but here it is. Sweden's
till vår
new health
gemensamma
minister.
välfärd. Tack.
Tack för det. Och nu tror jag Jakob ska lära oss allt om paragraf 5-förordnanden. Eller hur, Jakob?
Ja, det tänker jag vi har i en särskild övning möjligen. Hälso- och sjukvården.
Security personnel and several of the officials on stage, including Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson, rushed to help Elizabeth. She was taken out of the room.
Tilltro till vår gemensamma välfärd. Tack.
Tack för det. Och nu tror jag Jakob ska lära oss allt om paragraf 5-förordnanden. Eller hur,
Just
Jakob?
Det tänker
hours
jag vi har i
after
en
taking
särskild övning
office, she
möjligen.
fainted, smacked her head
hälso- och
on a
sjukvården.
lectern, and blamed a blood sugar drop.
Security personnel and several of the officials on stage, including Prime
Like
Minister
she
Ulf
smacked her
Kristersson,
head off
rushed
of
to
the
help
lectern.
Elizabeth. She was taken
She
out of the
smacked
room.
her head pretty freaking seriously on that one. Like, that's not like a little hit. It went right on the edge of that and smashed her face right on it. Like, what kind of health minister are you? Are you even healthy at all? A blood sugar? She said, I had a blood sugar drop. I don't know about you. And I mean, I'm pretty beefy, but like, I've never had a blood sugar drop like that before in my life. Are you kidding me? She said she's officially stable, but come on. She's a health minister who can't stand upright, probably half dead already. A Christian Democrat was ranting about Sweden's healthcare crisis, long wait times, and unequal access before face planting. With the EU flags and super lefty policies, if she can't handle a podium, how's she going to fix the hospital? Okay, now she's going to get an in-depth view of what the hospital is actually going to do with her dumbass when she bailed out. Imagine you're right. She was put into office a couple hours before that. It was her very first moment on a stage. She went and smashed her face like that. Europe's healthcare is crumbling. Aging patients, overworked staff, and DEI hiring. Are you kidding me? Is that a DEI hire? Like, imagine like putting her in charge of everything as she face plants off of there. Can't help but wonder. I don't know. Would Jeffrey have face planted off of the stage on his first day like that? Probably not. Whatever your name is. Elizabeth. It's Elizabeth Lahn. Not Elizabeth. Elizabeth. Like, come on. Elizabeth, you're going to be regretting that faceplant on your lectern. Big Pharma's licking their lips. No treatments for new bugs. I mean, they'll shove. Oh, wait. That's different. I couldn't help myself on that one. Moving on. So my next topic here. Hold on. Let me throw up a trend. Okay, so obviously Trump went in and blamed the left directly for all of the attacks on Charlie Kirk, says that they have been villainizing conservatives and everything we stand for straight across the board. Saying we're Nazis, we're misogynists, we're racist, something should be done. And then the left takes all of their leadership roles, like leaders saying that we're deplorables like Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Elizabeth Warren blaming the Charlie Kirk murder on January 6th and then doing all their whataboutism that goes along with it. Completely trashy and should be shut down straight across the board. Organizations and super PACs that are feeding into this rhetoric need to be held accountable. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to discuss in depth all of the attacks that we have seen from the left in the recently. Okay? So going back to 2023, violence has been ramping up. All of us have been targeted and victims, and everybody has dealt with cancel culture. My buddy at Liberty ICT, he already was like, oh, they call me racist. Anytime you say anything that they don't like, they come up with some shitty name to call you and try to ruin your work, your organization, everything. He says, yep. He goes, when are you got to call a number before going to the emergency room? I'd say there's a problem. Yep. He goes, anxiety, dropping sugar, as long as you don't turn into a tranny sore ass Rex. He goes, fuck Bill Gates, 100%. Paula Colburn says, how do I register for the event on September 17th? Okay. So you can go to my Facebook or go to American for Prosperity website or social media, and there's a link posted there. I'll make sure that I send you one. If anybody else has problems, let me know. But yes. But so talking about the left, they killed Charlie Kirk, man. What are you thinking? And then they're out there defending it. They're out there making TikToks talking about how they think that it's justified and that Charlie Kirk somehow deserved it. They're being trashy as hell. Okay? They were cheering for it. TMZ got called out for cheering and laughing in the background. Goes 1%ers, trash, deplorables, Nazis, bigots, Klan members, racists, anything they can come in. Woman haters, misogynists, all of this. Go ahead and right now, write in the comments a nasty name that someone on the left has labeled you when you debated with them, when you won an argument, when you oppose them in any way, what they did, write it in the comments, what they've done to you. Have they tried to cancel you? Did they call your work? Did they call your boss? Did they criticize you? Did they berate you in public? Did they yell at you? Did they assaulted you? Which I have been assaulted several times by batshit crazy liberals. I have open cases right now from liberals who have attacked me, who were arrested, and they still haven't even gone to their trial date. He goes, it's a sad day for America, 100%. Huge shout out to Todd over on X. I know you're going to drive down from Northern Vermont on Wednesday, Todd. You got to be at this event. You got to be at Constitution Day. This is our day. This is the biggest day for Vermont. This is the start. This is the start of the get back. This is the start of our coalition. We are going to build this up. And I'm saying this to 356 people in my audience live right now. This is the day. This is when we start back for Vermont, for the patriots of this state and for this country. We're not having it anymore. Okay? I am going to list off all of the nasty stuff, all of the attacks of the last 2 years from the left. And this is not just all of them, but here's a good idea of what's been going on. October 25th, 2023, Queers for Palestine rally violence. New York, LGBT, pro-Palestine leftist protesters chanted anti-genocide slogans and clashed with police in anti-Semitic leftist attacks. November 4th, 2023, the White House gate vandalism. Washington, D.C., pro-Palestine liberals vandalized the fence, shook the gates, chanting, fuck Joe Biden. DNC-linked riot at the White House. There were several people like trying to get over the gates and all kinds of crazy violence out front. November 7th, 2023, the murder of Paul Kessler, Thousand Oaks. Pro-Palestine lefty Loy Al-Naj beat the Jewish man Paul Kessler to death with a megaphone at a pro-Israel rally. Anti-Semitic hate crime. November 15, 2023, pro-Palestine riot at DNC headquarters, Washington, D.C. Hamas supporters and liberal protesters injured Capitol Police. DNC enabled anti-Israel violence. November 2023 to 2025, the Portland Antifa riots and doxing. Liberal Antifa LGBT activists have attacked police, conservatives, and ICE agents in ongoing leftist extremism, and they continue to pretend like it's justified and that they should somehow are righteous and morally correct in attacking police and anybody who disagrees with them. January 4th, 2024, Perry High School shooting. Perry, Dylan Butler, gender fluid, killed 1 and injured 7. Then suicide with progressive ties. Buried the story. February 11th, 2024, Lakewood church shooting, Houston, Texas. Janice Moreno, trans identity, injured 2, free Palestine written on the rifle. February 29th, 2024, murder of Benjamin Harouni, San Diego, a Jewish dentist killed by former patient, tied to an anti-Semitic leftist wave. June 2024, anti-Israel riot outside Addis Torah Synagogue, Los Angeles, California. Pro-Palestine leftist blocks access and assaults Jews in an anti-Semitic riot, attacking Jews but calling everybody else Nazis. Explain that one to me. July 2024, assault on a Jewish family, unspecified location. Pro-Palestine leftists harassed a family at a child's commencement. Leftist intifada violence. July 13, 2024, Trump assassination attempt. Butler, Pennsylvania. Thomas Matthew Crooks, Act Blue donor, grazed Trump's ears, killed 1, injured 2 in a leftist plot. Disgusting. Almost killed Trump. And then they all deny it. Oh, he was never shot. I've got a video about that. It was hilarious. All the protesters here were having meltdowns. Where's the scab? Did he have a scab? Where was his ear? Oh, he put a Band-Aid on there. September 15th, 2024, Trump assassination attempt, West Palm Beach, Florida. Ryan Wesley Routh, Dem voter, anti-Trumper, hid with a rifle on the golf course and was caught by authorities. Thank God. October 2024, shooting of Orthodox Jewish man, Chicago, Illinois, attacked walking to a synagogue, pro-Palestine leftists. Great. November 6, 2024, assault on pro-Israel students, DePaul University, Chicago. Masked pro-Palestine leftists injured 2 on campus extremism. November 24th, 2024, murder of Aviv Brock, Memphis, Tennessee. A Jewish locksmith killed during a home call. Leftist anti-Semitic attack. December 4th, 2024, murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, New York City. Luigi Mangione killed the executive, anti-capitalist leftist manifesto, and the left cheered for it. They cheered. They highlighted him in the news with all of them on TikTok on saying how they wanted to have sex with him and how hot he was. Men, too, were saying that, by the way. December 2024, assault on a Jewish student, Columbia University, New York. Free Palestine leftists attack student on campus with radical violence. Okay? They're attacking kids on campus for being Jewish. It's disgusting. Get a life. We're not accepting this anymore. We're not playing whataboutism anymore. What about that one time? Remember January 6th, 5 years ago? We're just attacking every day. January 20th, 2025, murder of Border Patrol agent David Malin in Vermont. Teresa Youngblood, a trans leftist cult member, shot the agent. Trans accomplice killed. Disgusting. March 10, 2025, Tesla Cybertruck arson, Seattle. Anti-capitalist leftist torch vehicle owner, Musk and Trump ties. Okay, that's ridiculous. And we all know there's way more Tesla attacks than the one I'm highlighting here. There was hundreds of them. Them just burning people's cars and attacking Tesla dealerships and everything just because Elon Musk was saying that they were going to target waste, fraud, and abuse in our systems. April 13, 2025. Arson on Governor Scott Shapiro's residence, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Pro-Palestine leftist Cody Bomber firebombed the Jewish governor's home in anti-Israel terrorism event. Disgusting. May 21st, 2025, shooting of Israeli embassy staff, Washington, D.C. Pro-Palestine leftist Elias Rodriguez killed 2, shouting, "Free Palestine!" Anti-Semitic murder. Disgusting. June 1st, 2025, firebombing of Jewish hostage rally, Boulder, Colorado. Pro-Palestine extremist Mohammed Sabri Solomon used Molotov cocktail flamethrowers, injuring 6 in a pro-Hamas terrorist attack. And I covered that before. They showed him out there holding the fire bombs and attacking. That was ridiculous. June 3rd, 2025, the anti-ICE riots, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Leftist Antifa protesters crashed with FBI, DHS at a Mexican restaurant, threw rocks, assaulted agents, pro-migrant violence, pro-illegal violence. June 6th through June 10th, 2025, Los Angeles immigration riots, California. Leftist Antifa pro-migrant liberals throw rocks, Molotovs, torched cars, attacked ICE agents and LAPD. Over 1,000 rioters, 851 arrests, 12 officers injured, DNC-backed anarchy, and it was disgusting. You had Gavin Newsom out there still to this day with the mayor, whoever the hell, I can't even remember her name. She's twisted and needs to be removed. Okay, and Gavin Newsom's still out there whining about what Trump did. It's just Trump's fault. Dude, you were advocating and using your platform as a dog whistle. The same thing that you try to blame Trump for doing in one moment, saying that, oh, this is the worst insurrection ever. You had all of LA attack all of these officers. They had to call the United States Marine Corps in and the National Guard to take back the city because of what you called for. And now you're going around cheering for it and hating cops and advocating for violence. June 10th, 2025, shut down ICE KC riot, Kansas City. Leftist Antifa protesters assaulted ICE agents, blocked streets, pro-migrant illegal extremism. June 10th, 2025, anti-ICE riots, multiple cities, New York, Chicago, Seattle, Atlanta, Spokane. Liberal pro-Palestine Antifa protesters threw bottles, cones, fireworks at police, ICE blocked roads. 115 plus arrests in New York City, 30 plus in Spokane, leftist anti-border violence. And they all say, this is a mostly peaceful protest. You don't have the right to dress up like all in a sequence, and when you attack in certain, then all of a sudden you're not in a group. You all group together and show up to protest, and several dozen of you attack officers and hurt people, and 115 in just this one with 900 plus in LA. All of a sudden, now you're not part of your group. You're not responsible for what any of the people in your large group did. That's BS, and you know it. That's like saying when you go to war, only the bad guys that actually shot and hit targets are guilty of anything. All the other soldiers and all the other combatants they didn't do anything. You didn't actually fire your weapon, so you didn't do any crime. That's BS. You're showing up, you're wearing all black, you're in a black block, you're dressed up as protesters, you're helping intimidate the police, you're making a distraction, you're camouflaging bad behavior and assaults on officers, smashing businesses, setting cars on fire. You're all guilty. June 15, 2025, the assassination of Minnesota legislator Melissa Hortman and husband Brooklyn Park, killed in a home invasion, leftist political violence. And let me be clear about that. The Papa John's pizza guy is not your source. Oh, hey, Papa John's guy said I thought he was a Trump supporter. That's bullshit. This guy who is the killer worked for Tim Walz. Okay, he helped with the campaign. He voted left. That's BS. They're always trying to hijack it and say that, it's a right-winger. No, it's not. And it's disgusting on the day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated that you try that lie crap about his motivation for the Minnesota killing and then try to say, hey, look, what about what about this, what about that? Yeah, no, we're talking about this today. We're talking about Charlie Kirk being assassinated in front of his children and his wife and thousands of children out of college campus trying to get out there and get involved with the political system and use their First Amendment right of freedom of speech and saying and doing the right thing for this country and their own families. And we're tired of you trying to manipulate everybody and recharacterize everybody's intentions and their words to make it nefarious and then weaponize it against us to make your attacks somehow justified in your minds. It's BS and it's going to stop and we're not taking it anymore. You just woke us all up. June 19th, 2025, Portland ICE riot. Antifa LGP leftists stormed a facility, launched fireworks, shined lasers to blind officers, 5 arrests on a domestic terrorism event attacking a police station. July 10, 2025, anti-ICE riot, Camarillo, California. Leftist Antifa rioters attacked ICE vehicles, waved foreign flags, in pro-migrant violence. You're not allowed to attack the police vehicles. I don't care how mad you are. You're in an illegal status and you're being picked up as per the federal legislature that says that you are not allowed to be in this country illegally. August 17, 2025. Alvarado ICE facility ambush. Antifa cell, trans LGBT members shot up the ICE building, injured agents, the Trantifa anti-border attack. That's bullshit. And they try to act justified. You're all these trans, these people, the mental illness, the leftism is their manifesto. So before they're like, yeah, we don't. No, when you are supporting leftism, you are supporting what I have. There's a lot more. August 21st, 2025, Charlotte subway stabbing. DeCarlos Brown Jr. killed. Irina Zaruska tied to leftist-enabled urban crime wave. 100%. When you are part of the Black Lives Matter community, you are getting let out of jail on harm reduction statutes, and you attack that woman because she's white, you are now part of the violence. August 25, 2025, attempted rundown of Border Patrol agent in Knox County, Maine. Trans leftist Olivia Stevie Wilkins tried to ram the agent with her car. It was a Trantifa extremism attack. August 27, 2025, Annunciation Catholic Church shooting, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Trans shooter Robert Westman killed 2 kids, injured 17 plus, anti-Zionist, anti-Trump, disgusting attack on Christianity. September 10th, 2025, the assassination of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, Utah. Conservative shot dead by a registered Democrat leftist. Okay? We all know it. The president knows it, and we're not putting it up with it anymore. Okay? We're not. We're not dealing with your crap anymore. He said Mayor Bass. That's right. It's fucking communist. Says Hank is the best. 100%. We're not putting up with it anymore. And this has been going on for a long time. And we have been patient. And we have tried to deal with this with dignity and tried to not do the same thing in retributionary styles. But I'll tell you like this. When a shooter does something like happened to Charlie Kirk, imagine this scenario. Say someone was dressed up like Mickey Mouse, right? With the ears and everything. And they went out with a rifle and they assassinated someone on the left. They assassinated Barack Obama, right? And they were dressed up like Mickey Mouse. Then, the following week, thousands of people showed up dressed up as Mickey Mouse at protests. I would say that they are implicit with the killing and are trying to intimidate and use fear and terrorism, and that's how I see protesters now. You want to show up and be a protester, and all of these killings and attacks and violence, and this is just a small portion of what's happened over the last 2 years, let alone decades of violence from the left. And they want to say September or January 6th. Get out of my face with that. This is over and over and over again. By far, way more violence and riots and destruction of businesses and property and cars and families destroyed and intimidation. And it hasn't started here. My next segment, I'm going to talk about a historical event that took place in the 1970s. In the 1970s. And I'm going to get to it right after this. Patriots of Vermont, I'm calling on you now to warn you of corruption, of scandal, of betrayal during every vote. Becca Balin, Peter Welch, Bernie Sanders have sold you out. They voted against the Halt Fentanyl Act, flooding your communities with 85% cheaper drugs. They decriminalized narcotics. There's no treatments. We are exposing the corrupt leftist politicians who have infiltrated our state and destroyed our potential. Join me. Fight back. Stand up for yourselves. Do what's right for the state of Vermont. Do what's right for our children. It's time that we come together and kick these people out of our state. Join me, Planet Hank, in fighting back. Fighting for Vermont, fighting for America, fighting for our children's futures. We have to turn this around before it's too late. Crime rates and drug usage rates in the state of Vermont are out of control, and they have tried to defund the police every step of the way. Fight back with me, become a patriot, and let's get this done for the Green Mountain State, because it's the right thing to do for Vermont and for America. I love that video. That video gives me goosebumps, okay? And so, in my final segment, I'm going to bring us back. This is a historical segment, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So, March 1st, 1971, okay? Radical leftists bomb the U.S. Capitol, shaking D.C. So how about that whataboutism? Okay, you want to talk about whataboutism? Let me dig some old shit up, okay? The Weather Underground, a Marxist militant group, claims responsibility. Okay, 1971. What about that? Okay, you want to talk about whataboutism? How about that? We love liberty, but this was chaos. The attack, 1 a.m., an explosion in a Senate restroom. There were no injuries, but there was major damage to 20 offices. They bombed the whole building. Look at that place. Targeted Capitol as a symbol of U.S. imperialism over Vietnam and Laos. Warning call ensured no deaths, their style, but still reckless. Who were they? Weather Underground 101. Splintered from Students for a Democratic Society in 1969, led by Bernadine Dorn and Bill Ayers, saw themselves as revolutionaries fighting for a corrupt system. See that? This is where it all comes from. I'm telling you. Justified. Oh, they're just bombing the Capitol, but it was justified because they are revolutionaries fighting a corrupt system on behalf of the little guys of Vietnam and Laos. They bombed multiple sites, the Pentagon, State Department, to, quote, wake up America and become woke. Sound familiar? Yeah, they've been doing the same shit for decades. Call out a group or a trend that feels like this, echoes this, all of them. All of these groups today are doing the exact same thing. This is their tactic. This is what the Antifas, what the anti-ICE, the Trantifas, all of these groups that come up with, somehow they're justified to attack, to shoot, to bomb, to stab innocents in the neck. And there's some reason in their ideology, which I think that equals their manifesto. Leftist ideology is their manifesto. They are out here trying to justify their violent attacks because they know that what they're saying has failed. Our cities are not safe. Blue cities are a disaster. Everybody knows it. Everything they preach is wrong and is corrupt, and they are funded by elites from global entities. They aren't even home. They're not even working for us anymore. It's the wrong way to rebel. It's the wrong way to be an activist, and they are being manipulated, and they're so headstrong, and we have all tried to talk to leftists. You can't talk to them. They think they know everything. They would never switch. The whataboutism, you know, Charlie Kirk's murder, and the first thing that they try to do is, what about the school shooting? What about Minnesota? Elizabeth Warren was right out there. First thing she did was blame Trump and then blame January 6th. You blame January 6th for Charlie Kirk's assassination? What are you talking about, Elizabeth Warren? You are full of shit. Vermont knows rebellion. Think Ethan Allen. But we don't touch our own house. Their bombs alienated the anti-war movement. See, this always happens. Same with Charlie Kirk. They martyr whoever they attack immediately. I love the saying that went out is that they created 10 million Charlie Kirks last night. And it's true. And then their attack gave the feds the ammo to crack down and hurting their dissent groups and the activism and the protesters. And that's exactly what's going to happen with this. We just heard from President Trump. He is now going to crack down on leftism, on extremism, and these crazy attacks that the left is doing. You're literally giving him all he needs to come after you and your organizations and your funding, because you guys are all helping out making these groups and making these protests violent. They all want to separate themselves. You've seen it all. I saw it all day. I argued with tons of them. We got Melissa Ann on my thing. Missy Swim, she's out there saying, oh, well, I would never advocate for this and that and everything. They're out there hanging the flag upside down and saying that they wish Trump was killed. They're advocating for it. They don't fucking care. They 100% are advocating for violence. They love it. It reminds me of Iran, how when they bombed us on 9/11, they all cheered. They all cheer when any American gets attacked, when the UK got attacked, any Westerners, they all cheer. They chant death to America. They're full of it. The aftermath of the Weather Underground attack on the Capitol is fizzle and failure. It always blows up in their face. The FBI hunted them. And we all know Jim Ayers, they never arrested him for it. The group faded by the 80s, leaving no revolution. Just a bad example. They did the wrong thing, and then everybody left them. That's the other thing. As soon as you do one of these attacks, the left tries to disassociate themselves from you immediately and throws you off. And I always wonder why these people do this. They get crazy and they turn their ideology into their manifesto, and then they let it fester, and their mental illness. You ever talk to a leftist? All they want to talk about is, oh, well, I'm bipolar, and that's why I do this, and I'm this and that, and that's why I do this. They love the concept. Well, I have a mental illness, so I'm allowed to do this. Or I was seeing a therapist, so they said that, of course I'm going to yell at everybody. Or I have this, so of course I'm going to attack people. That's what happens when you have a borderline personality disorder. The Weather Underground's bombing was loud but pointless, and a lesson of what not to do. You're never going to. This is what all we ran into in Iraq and with the Middle East. They talk all these people into wearing suicide vests and going at our gates and suicide bombing a gate or American convoy and trying to tell these people that, oh, well, Allah is going to honor you and you're going to get all these virgins and you're going to go down in history. Seconds after that bomb goes off, nobody remembers you. Nobody cares. Your family is dishonored. And I guarantee you this, is when the family tries to speak up about what happened with their child, the terrorist group loops around and kills their family. If you're a leftist and you become one of these attackers or one of these Trantifa shooters, as soon as you do that, the left is going to come around and disassociate and destroy any connection that they have where they could be found guilty along with you. Don't fall for the hype. Come to the real team of truth, of doing the right thing, of Jesus Christ, of standing up for your community and public safety. What we stand for is getting the drugs out of our community, getting Vermont back on the right track, supporting our police, supporting religious freedom, freedom of speech, treating stuff with dignity and some decorum that we've lost in our traditions. We used to be able to go out in public, and before you had a trashy argument with somebody, we would say, hey, well, I agree to disagree, and I still like you, Bill, so let's talk about something else. And we would move on. Now, that's not, so often do I hear people say, hey, listen, I can't say my opinion because I have a business. And if I say anything that goes against the lefties, then they'll start attacking my business and trashing me out, trying to destroy my customer base, trying to sue me, trying to do whatever they can. And that does not stop property damage, violence, and just simple petty stuff. Like, go ahead and put a Trump sign out in your yard. See how long that lasts. One of these crazy, mentally ill leftists with TDS will stop and attack and steal that sign within one day. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Jeremy says, Hank needs to marry AOC and have a little hybrid centrist political babies. Tone her down and change the world. Stupid, I know. Hey, you send her the message and tell her we'll have her on as a podcast guest. We'll see if we can change the world. He goes, yo, I'm late. He said he laughed at Trantifa. He said, yep. He goes, Mike Joseph said, they said after Trump won that they had no choice but to kill MAGA. He said, you're absolutely correct. Leftists call for violence. It's historically a tradition. Here we go. Divide and conquer. It's what the two-party system wants. Also, BLM and LGBT was funded by large Israel companies. Charlie Kirk brought this up in an interview. Oh, boy. Here we go. Here comes the libertarian, and I like to call them the libertarians. The libertarians with their freaking Islamic funded freaking talking points, you better go get your tucker and tuck it up into your butt. He goes, Charlie was afraid Israel would kill him for speaking out recently. Oh my God. Here we go. The conspiracy theorists, the podcast bros. He goes, yes, sir. First Amendment every day for real. He said, yeah. He goes, we should have listened to Geronimo. I don't know about that. So I'm going to pop it up on the screen one more time for all the people who are just popping in. We got 375 people watching live across all platforms. We got the American for Prosperity event in Vermont, Constitution Day, this coming Wednesday. And it's at Bar 580, which is right here in downtown Brattleboro. September 17th from 6 to 9. We're going to have the band Intercept playing. They rock. They're going to be playing the national anthem, Freebird, a bunch of Hank Williams, a bunch of other patriotic music. I'm so excited. I will be hosting the event up on the mic, suited and booted, spitting jokes, warming the crowd, and discussing some of the very best topics for Vermont, such as affordability, what's going on with our taxes, what's going on with public safety in the state, and the drug crime that we have seen, and specifically what we need to do as far as getting on the right track in the state. And I mean, it really applies to the whole country, because I know the whole entire country is having a problem with representation and not getting the people that they want into their elected official positions, and basically having no voice. These places are trying to defund the police and reduce the criminalization of drugs like fentanyl and cocaine. I mean, we're just closing the border up now, and the left has a meltdown about it. And then they cry about stuff like SNAP benefits. They're crying about health care. And at the same time, they're trying to defend themselves, trying to fraudulate the system and sneak illegals into these places by giving them social security numbers and finding ways to, hook them up with benefits that they don't qualify for, which drains the ability for our American programs to adequately help the people who are most vulnerable, such as single moms, people who are disabled, to deserve those benefits. There's nothing wrong with Medicaid and SNAP benefits for people who actually need them. Not a bunch of 35-year-old dudes that want to smoke pot all day and lie on their paperwork, or a bunch of illegals coming in and getting thrown a social security number from some Biden-era backdoor program. That's not what these programs were designed for. And then they try to, characterize it like we're doing some terrible act and taking food from children. No, we're not. We're protecting the children who need the assets that we have provided for them through our programs. We like those programs. We just don't want you guys stealing money from it. Okay, so get your illegals and get the people who don't qualify and get them out of our programs. And stop calling us racist Nazis and shooting us with sniper rifles for saying it. Okay? That's the problem with this country, is you guys want to lie, and then when we call you out on it, then you want to shoot us with sniper rifles or bomb the Capitol or attack the officers or do whatever. And it's not going to happen anymore. The Charlie Kirk situation has pissed us off, and we're mobilized. I yelled at some protesters yesterday. I said, hey, you're not welcome here anymore. Get out of here. Get out of here. You're not intimidating me or my people in my town because you want to sit out here and pretend that you're some hippie and that you're going to change the world. No, you're not. You're intimidating old people and Jewish people in the community. And we're tired of it. We're tired of it with your Gaza crap. We're tired of it. Get it out of here. Get them out of there. There's my stars. There's my stars. Sherry, you better put some more stars. She says weekly child support. Put some more stars on my name. Okay, you better put some respect on my name. 500 stars, not cutting it. That should be 5,000 stars. We know that you make a bunch of money selling. He goes, I could care less about Islam. Let the sand... Oh, I'm not reading this out. He goes, just stop using my tax money. The way I look at it is, not talking about it. The Planet Hank live show, the absolute finest entertainment. We all know that. I just went off. We talked about everything. the subway attack, Charlie Kirk, mosquitoes with the freaking virus, the 9/11 memorial, Swedish health minister falling on her face. We listed all the attacks from the left, which were lots of them, by the way, for all you leftists out there who think that you are morally superior or justified. You guys are scumbags. We talked about the historical attack on the Capitol from the Weather Underground. And we talked about my event, Constitution Day, this Wednesday, Bar 580 with the band Intercept and myself hosting. I'll be spitting on the microphone and letting everybody know exactly what they got to do and how to get involved and how to take Vermont back and make Vermont first, something that we all know about. So what we're going to do now is the most important part. The very most important part, and we all know it. We're going to put 3 dog emojis up on the screen. 3 dog emojis from my man Marco. And with those 3 dog emojis, when I see 3 people put 3 dog emojis up on the screen, I'm going to give my boy Marco right here the finest American-made milk bone on the planet, made with cow's milk from their teats. Okay? And I mean it, from their teats. There we go. I better see more Lauren Tiller, Rachel Morris, Susan Hubble, Sherry, Jeff Bush, Shelly, Jeremy Keys. They all want you to have this bone. I better see a couple more. I don't care. I'll take a bite out of his bone. I swear to God, I'll eat some of his bone. I'll deliver that bone with this bad boy right here. That is the finest. That's the strongest arm in the state of Vermont. It's hands down. There he goes. Yes, that's a good boy. The very best podcast with the absolute finest dog, with the most jacked podcast host Vermont has ever seen. See you at my event. I love you guys. I love doing this show Thursday night. You know. Peace!